So you guys been wanting me to change the theme song sound quality, but I'm gonna keep the same song. So here we go. This girl reviews movies, games, and books. Just how she plays them, and she does that. She does it with the cat. Does that make her crazy? Does that make her crazy? Probably. Hopefully that fixed the audio. Crazy Cat does not own any of these pictures or books or pictures. I use them under fair use for educational purposes, so the people who watch them learn a little bit something when they do it. Hopefully that fixed the audio. I only did all those years ago. No, I don't want to do this. I'm scared of this thing. Be more of it. Alright, so this one's not really based off this has loosely basing of the Robin Hood story, because since King John is not even in here, or Prince John, because some other iterations he's just Prince, but in this movie he's not even in it, because they kind of combine Sheriff Nottingham role with John's role. They kind of combine them together. And I would say this is the one that mostly Men in Tights rips off of. Like, makes fun of. Is this movie, I would say, because I could see that the most similarities to this movie and that movie, except for with a lot more jokes. That's what Men in Tights is, I would say. Since I have seen, like, how many Robin Hood movies have I seen now? I've seen the Disney movie, I've seen this one, I've seen Men in Tights, I've seen the one that came out in 2007, 2011, I think. And there's also the one I need to watch that came out, like, during the 1930s. I do want to do a pretty much, like, a couple weeks to be reviewing nothing but Robin Hood movies, to see which one I think is the best Robin Hood movie. So far, if you notice, in my shorts, I have been, like, comparing, each of the roles to, of their characters, because when I usually do my shorts, I usually put scenes together of the same character being played by different actors, most of the time, or I do, I have the same actor playing two different roles, or I have, me telling, a joke, or me talking about, Greek mythology. So since I just did a whole bunch of, stuff to do with Robin Hood in my shorts, I've been wanting to rewatch some of the Robin Hood movies, and I haven't really talked about Robin Hood in any of my, reviews, so it's a perfect time to do it. So, I don't know, this time around, I did email. I was going to do either How to Train Your Dragon, since How to Train Your Dragon's remake's coming out soon, or Robin Hood. And Robin Hood won the email. And so, we're going to do this one, since I just recently got this movie. And this movie is called Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and this one came out in 1991. Robin Hood is played by Kevin Costner. We have Alan Rickman, rest in peace, playing Sheriff of Nottingham. Morgan Freeman playing one of the merry men that he meets in Jerusalem, who, like, vows to protect Robin, because he rescued him from prison while he was in Jerusalem. Now, the whole entire thing with Robin Hood, it's supposed to take place during, like, the 1800s, and it could have up to 3 different kings in it, because we have their dad, Henry II. We have King Richard, who's the one who's on Crusades a lot, the one that we're supposed to root for during this, even though in history he is kind of hard to say, because he's hardly ever, he was so busy crusading, he was not really in England that much, so I don't know if he was really a good king. But in my book, if you're not in England at the time, if you're not in the country that you're being king of, you're not a good king, okay? In my book. But let me know. I'd rather have like some British person say that. What would you think? Would you think that in history, would you say that he was a good king? Now we know King John is not a good king. There's a reason why there's only been one King John. But mostly, King John did do a lot of things that happened in these movies, in these Robin Hood movies, taxed them to death. Pretty much, the people of England also started a lot of wars. I think he killed his nephews. I think they should have one movie, if they haven't already done it, with him signing the Magna Carta paper. Have Robin Hood make King John or Prince John sign the Magna Carta at the very end of the movie to reference history. So I know, we know Robin Hood was not a real person. He's mostly based off of a bunch of people that who King John wronged or robbed King John. Basically, that's what you could say. Because I watched a lot of documentaries about Robin Hood, and they all say he's not a real person, but they compare him to other people in history that were real people, who he could be based off of, basically. But mostly he is not a real person, and the same exact thing with his merry men. The ones that are real people in the story are King John and King Richard. Rarely do they ever mention mention their dad, because their dad is most likely dead by the time the story starts. So this time around, like I said, no King John, no Prince John. That guy is not in this movie. They combine both Nottingham and John's role together, basically by making Alan Rickman being the one who takes over the castle of King Richard while he's off crusade. So that's how they got they do it that one. Because I don't know if this is my first time watching it. If it isn't, it's my first time watching this movie in a long time. But then we start off with Robin Hood inside of a Jerusalem prison, and he escapes after he almost loses his hand from robbing, and he is saving Morgan Freeman, who what's character is he playing? It's one of those hard to pronounce words. Zygmunt, okay. And they escape together. He says, "I vow to protect you until I believe until necessary." Basically, since and they roll back to England. Robin kisses the dirt because he's so happy to be home, and then he rescues Little John's son from a bunch of Nottingham's men, because he killed one of Nottingham's deer, and he is saving him, and the boy runs away, and he goes to Robin and Ezekiel goes to his home and finds out that his dad's been killed, and everybody else except for Duckin, who's his blind servant butler, who's also an see, these two characters are technically in Men in Tights, except for the one in Men in Tights has Ezekiel's son, I think so, but it's a Chew, but it's that's what I think who this is supposed to be based off of. Now, these two are not really that in many Robin Hood movies, because they're not that. And I guess not that important roles. Mostly the ones I know of that are merry men is Friar Tuck, Little John, and Will Scarlet. Those are the three I know besides Robin Hood. But those are the ones that are mostly in the most versions of Robin Hood. So I did not know. I thought those two were like mostly when I watched Men in Tights. These two are supposed to be like joke characters, but since they're in this one, it's actually more serious role, a more serious movie. Maybe they're part of the book. I had not read the Robin Hood story. Maybe I should read it one day eventually. But I have a lot of books to read, so I'll put that in my eventually to read story to find out all the Merry Men's names. But anyway, Duncan was blinded by whoever killed Robin Hood's dad, which most likely was Nottingham, because he has his dad's sword at the very end. He ends up trying to kill Robin Hood with his sword. With his dad's sword, so most likely it was him who killed Robin Hood's dad. And when the men go after Robin for killing, because he killed a couple of Sheriff Robin Hood's men, and now here he is wanted for killing some of his men, and so he gets chased by his men into Sherwood Forest, which is this version is haunted by spirits, but it's just really the Merry Men before it become the Merry Men. It's mostly like Will Scarlet, Little John, and other guys who don't really have names. In this movie, we have Little John has a wife and has a son. All right, I'm back. So. When after they entered the Sherwood Forest, we had the fight against Little John, which it's kind of hard to probably find a guy taller than Kevin Costner, but the guy here who plays Little John might be tall, but I'm so used to him like being taller than Robin in these movies, but. Guess it's harder to do that in live action, but this is like technically the first time I've ever seen some where they don't get the right person to the right size, I guess. But it's fine. I guess he's still tall, but it's just weird not seeing the guy who's playing him taller than Robin. But their fight is pretty good. I mean, twice Robin falls over, but eventually John does end up falling, get hit by the stick because he tries to cross the river, but he's not because he has to pay a toll. And then mostly during this movie, Will Scarlet, so I guess is secretly Robin Hood's brother. I guess he's like a bastard son or something. He didn't know about him until near the end of the movie, and I guess Will was jealous that his dad favored him, so he kept on calling him like the rich boy. And when his ransom was available, he wanted to go and turn him in. He even offered him to near the end of the movie to go and get him when they thought he was dead after they get attacked by Nottingham and his men. When Duncan, not knowing that he's being followed since he's blind, back to Sherwood Forest. He also runs into Marion. In this movie, Marion is pretty strong fighter, and I'm not sure. Like I said, I haven't read the book. The reason why she's always at the castle, I thought, with all these different versions of movies, I've seen her in different roles. She's sits up there with the king, sits up there with John, and I thought she was supposed to be a princess, or ladies in waiting, but it turns out she is actually their cousin, so she is technically royalty, but a very distant royalty. So but I think pretty sure she is not a real person. She just, in the story, she is mostly their cousin. That's why she is either has her own castle, or she's mostly well well, after, or she's they're like doing the archery tournament stuff, that she's up there sitting right next to John. But in this movie, since John's not in it, they do mention that she is Richard's cousin here, and that and also Nottingham does try to marry her, just like in Men in Tights. He tries to marry her, but the way he tries to marry her in this movie is not really some way you want to, because they have Dr. Crow, the witch, in this movie too, and they make Nottingham the Crow's son in this one, and the Crow wants to have her grandkid on the throne that way. That's why she's been like helping Nottingham. I don't think he knew that was her mom. That was his mom. But he's like really in tune with the magic in this book, in this one. Because he always goes to her for fortune telling and advice, basically. But mostly the Crow wants to use him to like get his kids and her descendants in power, basically. The movie ends with basically with Marion and Robert getting married after Nottingham gets killed. And he did try to do the same thing to her, but it was not exactly an appropriate wedding, because she didn't want to have it happen. There's a reason why Alan Rickman's always usually a villain in these movies, but yeah, I think he does a great job. Rest in peace, dude. So let's find out who, besides Alan Rickman and Kevin Costner, in this movie. So Will Scarlett's played by Chris Slater. Maid Marian is played by Mary Elizabeth Masters. Morgan Freeman plays Esma. I think that's how you say his name. Let's see. Nick Buckler plays Little John, and oh yeah, Friar Tuck. Friar Tuck, mostly in this movie, is the one who marries them, and also at first he is a little bit racist to Morgan Freeman's character, but they eventually, after Little John gives birth, Little John's wife gives birth to a second son, and he helps the baby live for the pregnancy. He ends up trusting him, but he's played by Mike McShade in this movie. He also, at first, he didn't want to he didn't trust Robin, because he tries to attack him, because he goes in there, he is bringing wine, and he's like forced to be like a merry man. So, but yeah, he also kills like a bishop, the one who like who tries to, it was like pretty much forced to marry Nottingham to Maid Marian, but he's like running off with money, and Friar Tuck says, you brought shame to the house of God, basically. Would I say, out of all the Robin Hood movies, do I think this one's pretty good? What brings it down in rating is the fact that it does not have Prince John. The rest of it's pretty good. It's just so weird not having that character in it, and he's an important character to have in the story. But I guess it's you can tell the story without him, because this movie did it, but it's just so weird doing it without him. So yeah, it's gonna get brought down a little bit by that. But I would say I'm gonna give this version probably like an 8 out of 10 in both. So go watch it. It's hard to find though. I had to get actual disc version for me to watch it. So, but physical copies are important too. So I'll see you guys later. Like, favorite, and subscribe. And we'll see if I do the Robin Hood movie next week, or How I Train Your Dragon. We'll find out who wins the MMO. Bye bye.